Welcome to this week's episode of the Edges and Sledges Cricket Podcast. It's been a while since I've been on. I'm your host Varun, and I've got DJ with me as well. DJ, how you doing?
I'm very well, man. It's nice to speak to you. It's been a while, as always. I always like the way you open the show as well. For some reason, Ashwin and I always say hello and welcome. Like, I don't know. It's
I
like,
don't, no, I
but
don't
you're
have to
just
say
like,
hello.
welcome to the show.
Yeah, it is a show, man. It's like welcome to the show
The
because
greatest show on earth.
I'm not getting any hello back from our listeners. So it's a
That's
welcome
true.
to the show.
That's true. Welcome to the show. Good one.
Yeah. Oh man, it's been weird cricket wise, right? Like I feel like the Ashes is over, and in the last few years, I think the India Australia series of 2020-21 and the this Ashes have been like the two best series in a long time. And post that, you've just had this crash of India West Indies where honestly the time doesn't work out for me. We were all in the US, so got back. I was jet lagged, and I was like, okay, I'm jet lagged. I'm gonna watch this. I was jet lagged the reverse way, so I actually couldn't watch anything. But it seems like I didn't miss much. So let's first get into the Ashes. DJ, where we left off last time, I mean, I think we just need to talk about that fifth day, right?
Yeah.
In England kind of put Australia in with a target of around 380, 390, if I'm not mistaken. And Australia on day four, the openers did a fantastic job. Warner was 60, Khwaja was 72. They were actually 140 for zero before the first wicket fell. What were you thinking at that point?
So there's a lot to unpack there, right? On the fourth day, the ball wasn't doing anything. But you remember what happened like 10 days, and we've had a lot of chat about this. There's been like the owner of the Duke's company has come out and talked about this. There's a ball change like 10 minutes before the
On day
day
four.
on day four. And then of course the rain came down as it does in England, and play was called off. The next day it looked like a totally different game. And there's a theory being propagated that this is a 2018 ball that has been used. And remember, that's the series that Kohli scored 593 runs.
Okay, yeah. Wow.
Just to put it out there. But that Duke's ball apparently moved more, and now this has become a Ricky Ponting. Even during the game, was like this should be investigated. How can it change the ball? It was doing so little. It's now doing so much. I mean, of course, England overhead conditions also change, right? Humidity changes, cloud cover. So it was a different ball game altogether on day five. And man, what a day we had. So yeah, at that point on day four, actually, I'd predicted that Australia would chase the runs. They only needed 249 to win on the last day with all 10 wickets standing. Warner and Khaja looking great. Manas to come, Smith to come, uh, the P Dog, Pat Cummins, the
Paddy
hero from the
C.
first,
Paddy C.
Paddy
Like,
C. Do
yeah.
you want to give listeners context to Paddy C?
Because of Nicky P, man. Like Danny
Or just
Morrison just
Hattie B?
Yeah, so there's Nicky P's, and then all of us were in Nashville, and there's a very famous fried chicken place called Hattie B's. So we were just going full on Daddy while saying Hattie B's, Nicky P's, and now clearly Paddy C's.
Paris says, yeah, but it was a great day's play. But I was actually backing the Aussies to do it. And I came out saying that. In fact, the three commentators before the day's play as well, all backed, including Dinesh Karthik, who'd probably been the most recent player, all backed Australia to do it. But the conditions just changed. The ball swung everywhere, and of course, your other man crush, Chris Wokes. What a player! What a
Dude,
player!
what a player indeed. Even R. Ashwin just came out and said that he's like, I don't, this guy has everything. I think I'm probably misquoting him, but Ashwin said, I'm jealous of Chris Wokes. Okay, I'm paraphrasing, but that's pretty much what he said. And he's
But
like, I do not understand how this guy is not in a playing 11 at the
But
start of
when
any
I
series.
saw that quote, I thought actually Chris Wokes had said that about Ravi Ashwin. When I didn't read who had said what, I thought he was
Because
talking
there was
about
because
left on the
the
test
way
match.
you and I would have read that on social media, there would have been a big picture of Ravi Ashwin,
Correct.
and it would have
And
been
this is not
talking about
true.
Chris Wokes. We've
Yeah,
seen that somewhere else also, but
yeah.
yeah, exactly.
No, but it was yeah. And tell me one thing: does he's got a bit of salt and pepper going on in his head? Does that make him better looking or less
Yeah,
better
I've
looking?
in fact while we're on video, I'm seeing my salt and pepper too. So I think it's definitely a distinguished look.
Improvement.
For yeah, exactly.
No, but it was great. I mean, he came to the party, man, and the other guy that came to the party was Moeen Ali.
That was great.
What a story that is, dude! And he gets a text from Ben Stokes at the start of the series saying Ashes, and he replies "lol" because he doesn't know about Jack Leach's injury right at that point, and he splits his like the he loses like and he bowls through that pain in the first Test match. All of that happens, and what a way, man! Like it just makes you see like why do we keep dropping Ashwin in England? Look at all these off spinners
It
taking wickets: Lyon, Murphy, Moeen Ali. Sorry to relate this back to Indian cricket, but I mean it was a great performance by Moeen, to be honest.
it was,
Also,
and and
also
think
injured.
yeah, and think
Yeah,
about this. Since Nathan Lyon left, they couldn't win a game, right? So there is that value of your premier off spinner bowling, but we've you should check out our World Test Championship final episode if you want to get into that debate again. But man, England 2-2. Um, they didn't retain the Ashes, but there was this whole chatter around we knew who was the better team, and then there was also chat around there was Australians were like we didn't see any baseball, but what a
they
series
did
it
the beers at the
yeah.
end.
So they
Tell us
didn't
about
do the
that.
customary beer, and then did you read up more about that? They said they went and had a drink at the club. I don't know if that was wrong or
Yeah,
not.
Ben Stokes tweeted at 4:28 a.m., which is rather dangerous territory given his
Yeah.
record at
Given
that time
Joe
of night.
Root, David Warner, Ben Stokes, they're all in the bar together.
Yeah,
That's pretty dangerous. But they
yeah.
did get that drink. But yeah, man, there was so much controversy around this. But let's talk quickly about two retirements, right? Stuart Broad and Moeen Ali. So maybe Moeen Ali first, since we touched upon him. He basically has come out and said, if Baz or Stokes reaches out to me again, I'm just going to say no. I am done. This is my retirement. So good for him, man. I think we're going to just see Moeen Ali play franchise cricket now. And that's fun, and that's what he wants. But Stuart Broad, a stalwart of the game. I love that UV also tweeted out wishing him happy retirement and didn't mention the six sixes, because every year on UV's birthday and Stuart Broad's birthday, that's the only thing that's brought up. But
Yuvi's too aggressive with that, though. There was one video of him with his kid watching the Yuvi hit Stuart Broad for six, like educating the next generation or something.
But if I was UV, I would just wake up every day and ask my whole family to sit and watch that before they start the day. I think it's fair. I genuinely think it's fair. Don't you think so?
The greatest thing to happen since sliced bread, those
Yeah,
six.
exactly. Wake up every morning, sit with a cup of tea, watch the six sixes, and then
We
everyone
have,
goes to
we
school
have
and
fallen
office.
into
And
the trap. We've not talked about Stuart Broad. We're now
okay, yeah.
talking about
So
six sixes. Then we'll talk about Flintoff. He had a fight with him. And then we'll talk about Joginder Sharma bowling the
yeah,
last over and then done. Stuart
yeah,
Broad retirement finished. This is why we need Ashwin on the show to keep us
yeah,
on track,
yeah. But I
actually.
forgot what we were talking about. But anyway, okay. Stuart
Stuart,
Broad.
no, was it Moeen Ali?
No, it was Stuart Broad who got the
Okay.
Guard of Honor with James Anderson, and
Almost with James Anderson.
almost. And yeah, man. I mean, great career. I don't know why he called it quits, but I like that he basically said, for me, cricket like is England Australia. Like playing Australia is the pinnacle, and after this, I'm done. So yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, we spoke about it briefly last week because the retirement had been announced a couple of days before, right? The actual last day. I mean, what a way to go out, right? He takes the last two wickets. There was a point at which Todd Murphy Stokes was saying that he's going to take him off because he wanted to bring Mark Wood back on. And so he was running in thinking this is going to be his last ball in international cricket. And what happens? And Todd Murphy just nicks it and he gets caught. And then there's one more over given to Broad. And what a way to finish, man. I mean, 604 wickets. He's had, and there's a very interesting Jared Kimber article, maybe a podcast as well. He had more failure than success. We remember the successes, and that is actually the legacy that Stuart Broad leaves behind. The 8 for 15 at Trent Bridge, which is almost unforgettable. Like he was unplayable in that innings, but he also had all these lows where he went for 36 of Yuvraj, he went for 35 or 37 of Bumrah. I can't remember. It was something weird with those numbers because there were some extras and stuff, I think. He also nicked the ball to Clark at slip and didn't walk. So these are all the things that you remember, but he was a competitor, and I think that's somebody described it pretty well, saying he's the ultimate Ashes competitor. I think he's Ricky Ponting or someone like that. And that's true, right? Like he's a character that the game will miss him. He had the celeb appeal. He was irritating. He scored that 169 at Lords in that match fixing drama. He got hit in the face by Varun Aaron. Couldn't play the short ball for a few years, and then finishes his career with a six of a short ball. So last ball six, last ball wicket. I mean,
Yeah,
kind of a fairy tale ending, right? Like
yeah,
the
it doesn't
only way
get
it could have
better.
been better is if he took a cotton bolt on the last ball, and
Yeah.
then he's like last ball catch also.
Yeah, and I mean he did cross 600 wickets, right? So he kind of checked all his milestones, and yeah, kudos to him, man. I just every time he bowled, you just looked like he was running in very hard, and I think that's what I'll remember about the
Yeah,
guy.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, so let's quickly just talk about that World Test Championship table. It feels surreal that 2 months, or not even 2 months after the final, we're talking about this table again. So
Oh,
Pakistan and
wait.
India,
Can we also
yeah.
just sorry talk about the Ben Stokes catch?
Oh yeah, let's.
That.
I wasn't watching that. I stepped away and I got your message saying it was her. He's just dropped the Ashes, which
Oh
for all
man.
of us takes us back to '99. But do you want to walk through that?
I mean, what a moment that was, dude. Like it was insane. It was completely like nuts. It was he takes he hits Smith's hand, go goes and he does really well to catch it with one hand. And then when his hand's coming down, I don't think he's celebrating. I think he's just balancing himself. His hand hits his knee and the ball falls down, and he knows that it's not out. You can see from his face immediately. But of course,
He,
they went up for whatever reason, and third umpire said it wasn't under control. Now, I think this has all come from that Gill catch at the start of the summer, to be honest, because there
yeah,
was so much scrutiny on that, having the ball under control. I think he may have gotten away with this a few weeks or months ago. I think that whole having the ball under control, you had Mitch Stark's catch at Lords, or yeah, it was at Lords. So yeah, it's been interesting. But
yeah. That
sorry,
was. It, no,
yeah,
it did feel like a celebration, but yeah, interesting
but he
scene.
didn't drop the Ashes. And again, Stokes is a cricketer that's had a lot of failures before success. Remember the Carlos Brathwaite, the
Yeah,
whole issue at the nightclub,
yeah,
and now look where he is, Ashes equaling captain. But this feels like a proper. It feels like a fair result. I think the 2-2 felt like a fair result for that series.
yeah. I
Unlike
think
the
so
last
too.
series, which was also 2-2, but there was less. Like it felt like Australia had probably dominated that more.
Yeah, and Paddy C did say that last time we were 2-2 in 2019, we were celebrating. So let's not take anything away from this one as well. Right. So DJ, I was talking about that World Test Championship table. So as it stands now, Pakistan and India are on the top. And honestly, for us as Indian cricket fans, I think in 2025 the dream would be to watch India versus Pakistan at the Lords or somewhere in England, because that is what we've kind of always dreamed of. But interestingly now, Australia is in third place at 18 points. West Indies is in fourth, and England is in fifth. So they have played 5 matches and got 9 points. You get 12 points for a win and 4 for a draw. So they should have been on 28. They have been docked. I mean, I'm just
19.
stunned.
I've done the match. 19.
19 points, but I'm just stunned. And I know Australia has also been docked. How many?
And
They're
Australia were
about
down
11 points.
10 points, but
10
for
points,
one
yeah.
test match, which was rained out.
Yeah, and
So,
that's where Khwaja came in. So what is happening here? Like, what is happening? I don't think it's fair that
so,
England's at 9 points.
so I actually think it's absolutely fair. So the whole deal with Basball and Stokes captaincy is that, oh, all these clever fields and all of this, like, but he changes the field almost every ball. What else happens? You're going to lose time doing that, right? Like if you're going to be that clever, you've got a plan for every batter. And I'm okay with that. And I think it should be right. And there should be this penalty because test cricket tickets are enormously, exorbitantly expensive. If you go to the ground to watch Test cricket, you're paying over £150 if you're going to Lords, which is a crazy amount of money. It's a crazy amount of money for a day out, right? And that's one person. Forget
And
like
that's
a
one out
family
of
trip.
5 days.
Yeah, it's 1 out of 5 days. You can't buy like a season pass or whatever. But you are if you're bowling 80 overs in a day, that's more than 10% of the day's play that's gone. That the paying public is just losing out because you've not bowled your overs in time. And yes, all of this takes into account stoppages, it takes into account breaks, delays, batters being checked for concussion, whatever. I actually have zero sympathy for this. This is you are a professional, this is your job. Entertainment aside, that's great. Entertainment is great. But if I'm paying to watch 90 overs in a day and I'm getting 80, I'm being shortchanged. And there was a great suggestion by somebody, I can't remember who it was. So I take all the fines that you get, and they've reduced the fines as well. So now what is the consequence of bowling your over slowly? And the reason Australia bowled their over slowly in Manchester was to take time out of the game. It's strategic. So they've lost 10 points on that. Khwaja's upset that, oh, we didn't have the opportunity to make up. They were not going to make up. That's nonsense. You've got to be up with the over rate. In T20, you get penalized by having more players in the circle,
Yeah,
right? So there is a real penalty, game related penalty to this. If you start awarding penalty runs to teams that are behind the over rate, the other team, if you award it to the opposition, see how quickly people start bowling.
yeah,
And this whole in India, you have spinners, all of this. That makes no sense. India was also played with four fast bowlers.
yeah,
So this is I don't buy any of this. I'm not a fan. I sound like an old guy now, I think. But if I'm paying, and maybe this comes from my middle class mentality. I'm like, if I'm paying for 90 overs, give me 90 overs. Why am I paying for 90 and getting 80? Or give me a
no,
refund.
that's fair. So basically, just to clarify, if there's a result in 3 days or 5 days, but your day two bowling was slow, you will still get that penalty,
Mhm.
right? Yeah,
Correct.
that's fair. So
Yeah.
it's not about the result; it's not about how much time you have.
Yeah, and I
But
think this will actually affect them. This will hurt them because from 28 you've gone to 9.
yes, and this was for England a big home series, so they're going to hurt the most, right? And for Australia, I would say this suits their type of playing the most, even compared to South Africa,
But and Australia have missed out on a World Test Championship final the first time round for over
because
eight
of
points.
yeah.
Yeah.
So especially now being champions, it's going to hurt them, and you don't have that many chances. Like even India West Indies, I am very upset at the fact that one test was drawn because that was 12 points in the bag, right? So it should have been, yeah,
But
should
we're
have.
still more points than England after 5 Test
Yeah,
series.
so it's
Where is India in the World Test Championship
they're
final
number
table?
two right now, and that's the thing, right? That's what we talked about. That India, given their home record and the fact that they've been doing well overseas, is probably going to make the finals more times than other teams, and so you
As you
have to
should.
be prepared for
As
that.
you
But
should, with the
anyway,
most amount of resource at your disposal. But it was a good series. I think, enjoyed watching it. Sad that it's over. Um, yeah.
yeah, and we now move to ODI, which I have mixed feelings about because the next few months is going to be that. But on that note, let's take a break, and we'll be right back. Welcome back after the break. So we were talking ODIs. DJ, I know you guys covered India West Indies the last time. Now the third ODI, India, after being shocked, basically came out, put their best foot forward, and hit 350 in 50 overs. I would say almost everyone got going, right? Kishan, 77, Gill, 85. Gaikwad came in, didn't make a mark there. Samson at number 4, 51 or 41. Pandya, 70, and Sky at 35. Sky, they said they're going to start playing him as a number 6 because they want to get into his T20 role. I don't think there's much to talk about the game, right? West Indies won uh, the second one, India won the third, India
We
won the
won,
series 2
but
1.
we won the third by 200 runs.
Yeah, so we won it by a lot, and I think that is great because they were 151 all out. But as it stands now, let's just do a wrap on ODI. What do you think is going to happen with the Kishans, the Gaikwads, the Samsons, and the Skies, right? Because you've got Asia Cup coming up, and then you've got the World Cup. Where is India sitting in this ODI setup?
Yeah, so I think we again spoke about this last week, but Kishan, backup opener, man, he's had a great series so far. He's really come to the party, and he's done really well. Um, Samson, he has one score of note. We'll come to the T20s where honestly he should have been the one taking us home in that first T20 when he got run out. But I do like the way he bats in ODI cricket. He comes in and I think second ball or third ball just hit a six. It's just like mm, zero like fear. It's great to watch when it comes off. Sky, I've been saying we should be playing him low down the order. What's the point of batting him at four? Give him 20 overs, let him score 100, which is what he does in T20 cricket all the time. And the only thing that I've been a bit worried about with Sky is that the great thing about Sky, and I was thinking about this, is what he used to play all around the wicket, right? And that means hitting the ball over cover, hitting his flick shot was excellent. He used to sweep really well. He seems to have got obsessed with that shot, that that one that goes over his shoulder. He's obsessed with it. Like he's getting full tosses and he has to hit it. The cube, I just hit it wherever you want. It's a full toss. But that is it's an incredibly difficult and low percentage shot. The fact that he used to pull it off until last year so often was incredible. But I don't see him hitting the ball. I saw one maybe cover drive, but he's just too good a player to be obsessed with hitting that one premeditated shot.
Yeah,
So
and
that is what's worrying me
I think
about.
you're right. He's just, I don't know. When I see him, I get the sense he's just so excited to come out to bat that it's a lot of nervous energy. But then it's channeled in the wrong way, like you're saying, premeditated. I have to hit every shot for six,
Yeah.
and I have to try and hit it like behind the wicket. It doesn't make any sense because. I mean, I still believe Sky is one of the best we have in limited
Oh
overs,
yeah.
and he should be playing in ODI as well. But let me talk to you about the 11, or at least the batting lineup that we thought will play a couple of months ago and what is playing now. So it should have been Rohit, and let's put Gill there. Okay, let's put
Mm.
him there. It would have been Kohli. It would have been number four. Actually, we don't. Shreyas Iyer, KL Rahul, Hardik Pandya. Right. That's what it would have been.
Followed by
You know,
Jadeja
followed by Jadeja. Now you're sitting in a situation
or
where
Rishabh Pant. If Pant was fit, then Rahul would struggle actually to make that. Rahul and Iyer would probably win a shootout at that point.
maybe, yeah. But what agree? And by the way, I heard Pant is facing 140 click deliveries at the NC in Bangalore.
With one hand
So
or two hands?
I think one hand, man. He doesn't need two hands. But how good was that to read? Now again, I don't know if that's fake
No,
news or
don't get
not,
us excited now.
but
This is
I read that he's facing 140. I mean, 140 is probably faster than most of the net bowlers in India can bowl. So
faster than Mukesh Kumar for sure.
so he's probably getting better practice there. But yeah, so basically, okay, let me, long story short, we know Rohit and Kohli are going to play. What happens to Iyer and Rahul? Like, they're not even fully fit yet, but I assume they will be on October 8th or October 2nd, whenever that World Cup starts. What happens between now and then? Like, Gaikwad is not in the picture, agree, but Samson, Kishan, what's the scene?
I,
Sky?
it's tough, man. Like I think Rahul will be your Rahul has to be a keeper if fit. I think. Although Kishan, if you were planning and solving for Rahul not being fit, Kishan should have been batting lower down the order. So I think that's one of your
Exactly.
pet peeves, right? Like why is he batting up the order? But we are seeing him, I think, as a backup opener for Rohit. And I specifically say Rohit given his fitness record
Yeah.
because I will worry about Rohit playing an entire tournament in India and being fit for it.
Yeah.
He's got knee issues. He's had issues with hamstrings and stuff. I really hope. I mean, he scored 500s in the last World Cup, right? But I think we are seeing Kishan as a backup. And we are giving him game time. I mean, last time Pant came in halfway through, we had so many injuries, right? Last time Shikhar started the World
Yeah.
Cup and Rahul was batting four. Rahul then moved up. Pant came in four. Vijay Shankar was supposed to bat for. It was like what a time to be alive that
What a
was.
mess. But I firmly believe that
What's your best top six? Tell me that. Assuming everyone is fit, what is your best top six? The one that you read out?
uh, look, I do see value in Rahul at five. Okay, this might be a controversial decision, but I actually do. I don't think Rahul is a great new ball uh, player. I
Yeah, and
think
we
he's
looked at
better.
his stats, and he averages higher at five.
Yeah, so I
Than-
think Rahul at five is the way to go. Rahul's keeping, not 100% sure, but it's okay. I can live with that. The only thing is that number four slot. Now, I may be tempted to even play Pandya at four and Sky at six, because I think Pandya's game has also evolved a little bit. So
Pandya's bowling also, na?
that's the whole issue. That's the thing, man. Like every time I get angry at the selectors, I think it's so easy. Then we come on this podcast, and then the three of us sit and discuss it. And there's like, yeah, Pandya should be at four. And then you're like, yeah, but then he may not be able to bowl 3 or 4 overs out of 10. And then you're like, yeah, that makes sense. So it's not easy, man. But I don't know. I'm skeptical about Iyer and Rahul just walking back in. But I don't think Samson or Gaikwad or anyone has done the job. And I
Can I
don't
can
think
I throw a wild card into this?
you better not say Pant.
Tilak Verma at
Yeah,
four.
look, dude. The thing is, what's happening is these guys
But
have
he's
this.
so good. He's so
He
good.
is, and we're going to talk about him. But I
Oh,
think what's happening is the Indian management just buckets you or boxes you up, right? Like, and for some reason they're not able to break out of that mold. So now Tilak Verma is a T20 player, and that's it. Now he's not been tested in ODIs. There's no way they're going to take a chance on him, and yeah, maybe he would be a perfect number four. Maybe a Sai Sudarshan would be a perfect number four for an ODI setup. But it's too late. It's just too late in the game, in my opinion.
okay, fair. No, but Samson.
I don't know, man.
No.
Uh, Samson is not my. I like the guy, but he just keeps getting out so easily that I don't know what to do.
Yeah, but where is Sky going to play in that lineup though? Six. You're saying six is fine, but like Jadeja bat six, and then you'll have a bowling all rounder like a Shardul or somebody, or an Akshar. Or are we actually going to play six pure batters? But six batters including the keeper, and then go Jadeja and then four bowlers, and
So the
expect Pandya to fill in the sixth role.
so without going into the T20s too much, I think one of our big issues has been the long tail, right?
Yeah,
And
because
so
we collapsed for like we needed 37 of 30 balls and with 5 wickets, 4 wickets down,
yeah,
and
yeah,
we lost that game. That was ridiculous. The first T20 was with Kuldeep and Arshdeep, I think, left at the end. Kuldeep just couldn't get off the square, man. What?
yeah. So, but I don't think Shardul in India is a great option either. So I don't know, man. There's no answer. But I do think if Jaddu's batting at seven, I think that gives me a lot more comfort versus trying to make the tail longer and have Jaddu at six and Pandya at five. So I think, yeah, and I think Jaddu will be flexible, man. The day he has to go up, he will just go up. I don't think he should bat at four, for example. But I think the day he needs to go to five or six, he will. But he's probably going to be number seven.
I actually don't think there's a spot for Sky then, because then
Yeah,
you've got too many batters. Because you're looking at Rohit, Gill, Kohli, three ho gaya. Iyer or Sanju, one of the two, I guess, right? At four. You've got your keeper at five, Rahul, and then you've got Pandya at six. Where are you going to place guys? Seven, and
yeah,
then
yeah. So
Jadeja.
I'm saying if Iyer is not fit and Samson, I don't think deserves the spot ahead of Sky. So that's where I was coming from.
And
But
then
yeah, dude,
maybe,
it's
yeah, but then you've got either Rahul or Pandya having to bat four. One does keeping, one does bowling. So
yeah,
then
it's
that
true.
leaves only Sky at that number four spot where he's not done well before. So challenges.
It's not easy, my friend. It's not easy. But good news is we have a lot of ODI cricket coming up, which we may or may not watch in full. But we do have some matches in the Asia Cup and then the World Cup. So it will get better. I just hope Dravid and Rohit are able to provide clarity to the players and to themselves that this is what we're going to go with. Because remember, Siraj, Shami, Bumrah, these guys are not playing this. Bumrah, we're not. He is leading Ireland, man, out of the blue. He's going to be the T20 captain
Yeah.
for the series against Ireland starting soon. So that was a shocker to me as well, right? Given Hardik Pandya is supposed to be the new T20
But
captain.
is Hardik playing that series?
I guess not. I haven't. I can't remember the
Yeah, I
squad,
don't
but I
think he is.
guess
I
not.
don't think
So
he is. Because there was some chat about making Rituraj captain. Where from? He's not even in the 11.
it's too messed up when you think of the last few years. It's too messed
Do
up.
you think this is all
I
just media made up stuff, hype, or is this actually like was Rituraj being seriously considered to captain the
I
Indian
mean,
cricket team?
Dhawan was captaining us till last year, and
No,
he's
but
nowhere in
Dhawan
the
had a
scene.
body of work behind him in international cricket, yeah. Like
Yeah,
he like won a Champions Trophy. He scored runs in Test cricket. He was like a ICC tournament king. He'd
yeah.
done this for a long time. But Ritu's like he's made his like debut a few years ago only, like maybe a year ago in that COVID year. But
Yeah,
Boom is
but
back.
it just,
Boom is back. But that's good news, right?
yeah,
Boom being back.
Boom is back. That's good news. I was just going to say one of my concluding thoughts is I feel like what's happening is that the playing for India has become much easier than it was in the past, right?
Hmm.
Um, and so
I
I
should have
was,
also focused on my game a bit more, I
you
think.
should have, man. You never know. Uh, it's just become much easier. And so now you've got so many options, and now there's so much workload management, and you don't know who's part of the thinking the squad anymore. Like Akshar, Shardul, Siraj, Shami, Bumrah, Chahal. That's it, right? That's pretty much your bowling setup with maybe one more person, Jaddu and Pandya. That's it. So what are we playing Mukesh Kumar for? Is Arshdeep going to make it? He might be that one other bowler, but there's what are we doing? What's the
Are we
point?
playing Jaydev right now?
Yeah, what's the point? That's the whole question. None of this seems to be making sense. But oh well,
No,
all
we're
right.
playing Jaydev in the ODIs though, not in the T20s.
T20s. Yeah,
Arshdeep
we're
plays
playing Mukesh.
T20.
I mean, we're playing a pretty much a Bombay batting lineup with Kishan, Sky, and Varma, and then you're playing a Delhi bowling attack with Kuldeep, Akshar, and Mukesh Kumar.
Yeah, and that's why things are going so well so
Yeah,
far.
because
I
both
mean, we're
teams have
two
done
zero
well.
down in the T20s, man. We've been thrashed by Nicky
Unbelievable,
P.
unbelievable.
How good has Nicky P been, by the way?
Dude, that New York match or whatever the finals was,
Mini, Mini,
mini Mumbai Indians, New York. That's a great name.
Mini wins the MLC.
He hit
That
what
was a crazy knock, though, man.
130 or some 40 balls or something.
55 balls,
That's ridiculous.
137 of 55. It was crazy, but he's just carried that on. You saw him in the first T20 when he came in. I think
Yeah,
second ball six, third ball six, fourth ball four. He just went. He just didn't care. He was just like, "I'm in great form. I'm just going to smash this.
I think
Forget
when
about
he's
it."
I think when he's in form, he's just a different player.
He was just great, and I mean, but I think we made some tactical errors yesterday in the second T20. Chell didn't bowl his fourth over. Do you know what happened?
No, I don't. But I think I was reading about that there were some very questionable decisions.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
know what was going on. Kuldeep didn't bowl his fourth over. Akshar, we are obviously believing in matchups a lot these days. So Akshar didn't bowl when there were left-handers at on 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 strike. So yeah, I
I mean,
mean,
did Akshar bowl at all yesterday? No,
no,
right? So Pandya, Arshdeep Singh, Mukesh Kumar, Ravi Bishnoi, and Yuzi Chahal.
yeah,
So Akshar
very
didn't.
odd.
It's
But
odd, but
end of the road for Kohli and Rohit in T20s by the looks of it.
I think so, man. I think somebody was telling me Rohit saying he does want to play the next World Cup, but I don't see it happening. I really don't see it happening.
Yeah. I mean,
So
Kohli's fit enough to do it though, and he was in good form in the IPL. But maybe the way the teams are collapsing and not scoring the runs is symptomatic of those two big names not being in the side. I mean, you might have got like 170, which would have also probably been under par instead of 150
yeah,
with the way they
it's
bat.
look. I think we need to differentiate it for T20. I'm okay to do this experimentation, and there's still a little bit of time. For ODI, there isn't. Now, you could argue that the two teams are, there's very thin line that kind of draws them separate, right? But they are separate, and it's, I don't know. It's this weird thing. I'm okay with losing in T20 right now because the stakes are low. I'm just not okay with the way ODI is shaping up the team because you got 2 months to go before a World Cup. So we're
Are you
going to
getting
leave it.
excited? You're getting excited, even though we don't follow ODI cricket as much as we
It's
once did.
tough. This is the
But we're getting
first World Cup, but I guarantee you by the time we're at end September, we will be excited. And I think DJ, you might be in Singapore around October. So
excited.
actually, we may get to watch a couple of games together. That'll
End
be fun.
October, yeah,
I
start
just
November.
realized that as we were talking.
Yeah, that would be
So
cool.
on
That
that
would,
note, we're gonna end this week's episode. There are three T20s left, and then we gear up for the Island Series and the Asia Cup. So we will be back soon to talk the rest about that. But yeah, great talking to you, DJ, and stay tuned and join us next week.
like and